We're going to talk now about blocking versus clearing the perimeter. So we try to differentiate our defensive hand principles from the concept of blocking, and that blocking tends to connote a specific response to an incoming energy. In other words, my opponent throws a hook to the head, I put up a block that can only block a hook to the head. It should work, ostensibly it should work fine, but if you're fake, things can go wrong. If you're blocking this specifically and I fake it and come to a new target, because he was looking specifically to make contact with that first technique, he could be drawn out of position and caused to open a target. The other thing about that is, in order to block specifically, in other words, throw up a block that's just for one type of punch coming in, we have to deal with lag time, which is part of our reaction time. On level 2, we'll be talking more about the reaction time, but reaction time is important. It contains two elements. When you react to anything, you react twice. You react once mentally, and then you react physically. The mental reaction is what we call lag time. That's the brain time. The physical reaction we just call speed of motion, movement from point A to point B. Now, for me to specifically react to one type of punch with one type of block, my lag time has to go through 4 processes. Perception, analysis, decision-making, and the word go. Perception is automatic, because all you do is you see motion and your brain goes, hey, something's changing, right? But then you got to go through the analysis phase, which is, is that a punch or a kick? That's a punch. Is that high or low? Is that a hook or a straight? That's a lot of decisions to make as the punch is coming toward your head. Now you've analyzed it, you know it's a high hook, now your brain is going, well, what do I do about a high? I throw an inside-out block. But until I say go, I'm not doing anything, I'm standing still, making decisions in my head. Which means the punch is getting very close to my head by the time I begin my physical reaction, which means if it were a fake, I'm so far behind the 8 ball, I'm not going to be able to close the target down. So we have to find a way of eliminating some of that lag time, that perception, analysis, decision-making, and that word go, the initiation of motion. How am I going to do that? We're going to revisit the concept of the perimeter. Remember that for any punch to hurt me, it has to come within my upper perimeter, right? So if we accept that as a premise, then if I could figure a way to effectively and efficiently clear the entire perimeter, then anything that was in the perimeter could be cleared out and open a target for me to attack. So, taking the perimeter apart and remembering that the perimeter is divided by the center line into left and right, take a half the perimeter, left or right, there's only 2 ways to clear it. You can clear it from the center line out, or you can clear it from the outer edge to the center line. Only 2 things to do. Put the 2 halves back together, left and right back together into the upper perimeter. There are 4 possibilities. You can clear double in, you can clear double out, you can clear all to the left or all to the right. There's only 4 possibilities. So here's the thing. You're going to experiment left, right, double in, double out, and eventually you're going to come to the conclusion that for you, this one thing, whatever it is, as you've worked on it, you're going to discover your own one thing. But you're going to come to the conclusion that, gee, almost always when I do this thing, I'm having success with it. And when it goes wrong, when I guess wrong, when I'm faked, I'm getting really good at doing the contingency plan, at closing the other side of the perimeter down. So you're going to settle on this one thing and actually make the decision that every time somebody brings energy to you, you're going to do the one thing. In that way, your lag time is now pared down to almost nothing, because you don't have to analyze anything. You already analyzed it months ago and figured out exactly what you're going to do. Do you have any decisions to make? No, because you already decided that this one thing is the thing that helps you and works for you most of the time. So now your lag time goes from perception to the word go. It's just a go button. You watch the guy, you say, is he moving, is he moving? When he moves, you clear the perimeter and close it down. Now, one of 3 things is going to happen. 1, he starts to move. I clear the perimeter, and I get to start to hit. 2, he moves, I clear the perimeter, maybe go with a straight this time. I clear thinking I'm going to do my one thing, but I make contact, he's got strength, he presses in, that press in is what feeds me now the next target. It tells me where to hit the next target. Or the third thing that happens, he starts to move, my hands come up, I don't even have to make contact, I just begin to attack. That's why it says on your list that the general response, much quicker, much more efficient, and it allows for a more spontaneous offensive response to the opponent. That's clearing the perimeter.